Well, Newt, it's a new year. New year, new us. 2020 was something. Yeah. How was your 2020?
I mean, I spent a lot of time with you, so that's up to you to decide.
Well, you started working here, right?
did. Well, you didn't hire me yet at Hack the Movies Video.
Well, obviously.
But I got out of movie theaters right before movie theaters became obsolete and started working at...
right in time.
Right in time. Literally, it went from Ryan and I went to go see The Invisible Man, and in the middle of the movie, they're like, hey, everybody's got to go home. And I was like, what? And then the world stopped. But no, I started working at Screenwave, and we produced a very successful video game, and the world sucked, but Newt had personal growth.
Well, that's good. Let's see, I was on a pretty popular review show, and then it got canceled. Now I'm on this show, which is totally different.
Totally different.
Don't even know why I brought it up. It's such a completely different show.
Yeah.
And people really like it. It gets way less views.
Yeah.
Please, if you're watching, please subscribe.
And tell a friend.
Please subscribe and like it. Tell a friend. You know what? Don't tell a friend. Just send the link.
Yeah.
Just send the link to 10. Just send it to your enemies, really.
Well, I want someone to do fan art of me. No one's done fan art.
I've gotten some fan art of me this year.
Oh, no, I've heard.
The Twerking Tony was really great. Oh, and the Godzilla one, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a very interesting year, besides the show getting canceled. I started another show, The Siphon Filter and Friends.
Yes.
Started that in January.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun evolution of being in person with people and then being only video conference. But the best part of this year with that show was I got to play my favorite game of all time with the creator of the game.
That's cool.
That was cool. That was cool. You know what wasn't cool this year? All the cancel attempts I got.
Yeah.
How many were there?
There was a lot.
There were a lot.
Let's go down the list.
Let's see. So when the protests were happening, I was like, let me do a video where it's like, I want to protest too, but I live in a small town, so there's no one there.
Yeah.
And some guy decided that was offensive, and he went around telling everyone it was offensive on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And then when asked why it was offensive, he couldn't answer, and he deleted everything. So that was a cancel
All right,
attempt.
that's one.
Let's see. There was the person who photoshopped my merch store to look like I was selling perverted clothes for kids.
I thought it was viral marketing for cuties.
No, it was not like cute. I'm pretty sure cuties inspired the guy to do it. But yeah, so then some idiot couldn't tell that it was obviously fake and decided to message me and everyone I work with about all this stuff instead of just going to the link and seeing it was fake. So there was that.
Yeah.
There was the guy who said I was mean to him at a flea market.
I remember that.
At Roosevelt Mall in 2007, I think. Mm-hmm. I have not been to Roosevelt Mall since I moved out of that area in 2008, and I definitely didn't go to a flea market before that. Like, that was the weirdest. There had to be a better line you could come up with.
In the Discord and all that, it just started all these other times that Tony was mean to me stories.
I did that on Twitter. But by the way, I've been to so many conventions. Just lie about a convention. Be like, oh, he was
Don't give them ideas. People hate you. Like
That's true. Shit, don't do that. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please like. I have a Patreon.
You started an OnlyFans this year.
I started an OnlyFans as a joke, but it took off. So
and you spent all that money on 1992 Bram Stoker's Dracula paraphernalia.
No, my OnlyFans money went into crypto. Here's a good thing I did this year. I bought a lot of Chainlink when it was like $4. Mm-hmm. It got up to 20 at one point, but it's hovering around 13, 14 at this moment.
Okay.
I hope to God a year from now, I'm going to look back and
on this video and be
Chainlink is like $10,000. I don't even talk to you anymore.
I use that money to hunt Newt, Kieran, and Justin for sport on a private white people island.
I also invested in a stock called Plug. I bought a bunch when it was $6. It's now around $20.
Wow, all right.
So I made some financial gains this year,
that.
which was nice.
You're a regular roller coaster tycoon, my friend.
But then I got those cancel attempts.
Yeah.
Another cancel attempt. A guy tried to prove that I was a Nazi because I follow a handicapped kid in Detroit on Twitter, and he didn't like that the things that cripple Jesus, who's not allowed to be on this channel because he has a little too much fun on Twitter. He didn't like what the handicapped kid in Detroit was tweeting and decided since I follow him, I am also a Nazi. So I'm being radicalized by Cripple Jesus.
Well,
Here he is.
when you
Here's the guy who's radical.
When you become a big celebrity on the internet, Tony, like you have a target on your back.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. So yeah, 2020. Some ups, lots of downs.
Yeah. You know.
I'm looking forward to the future, though.
Me too.
There's a lot of things, like we have 10,000 Star Wars movies and shows.
Yep.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
We elected a new president, allegedly. Allegedly, he was elected. So people are excited about that. I'm not going to say if I'm excited or not. Leave it up to you. Yeah, there's a lot of things to look forward to. I'm sure we're filming this a little early, but I'm sure at this moment, Operation Warp Speed has totally eradicated the virus, and I'm sure things are back to normal now.
I don't want to say anything controversial, so let's talk about how much we hate Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters 2 sucks,
Yes.
okay? So I've talked about this many times.
Yes.
I've talked about it in a bunch of videos. My good friend Adam Olinger, I met him because I went on Andy Signore's show and we debated the new Ghostbusters movie, and I talked about how everything sucked.
new one or the
new
last
one?
new
I talked
one?
about how like all sequels suck to
Okay.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I did a video last year called "Break Up with Ghostbusters," where it's actually someone left a comment saying that it actually inspired them to get out of their abusive relationship. Because I was just saying what you would say to someone in an abusive relationship, but I switched boyfriend-girlfriend with
You
Ghostbusters.
say things like you don't think I watch your videos.
I don't know who watches my videos, okay? I'm so used to my friends.
It's
not
just
watching.
you 2,000 times. Like, look how well I'm doing.
Refresh. Yeah, so I've talked about this a lot. I went on a podcast. Here's what I don't get podcasts
Yeah.
to talk about this, but I'm like, all right, this show is doing well. Please, for the love of God, subscribe. Please subscribe and like and share it. And Patreon. Did you see? I mentioned those cancel attempts. Please subscribe to me on Patreon in case shit hits the fan, guys.
You need a slush fund.
Yeah, so I've talked about it many times, but like let's get it out of the way in this one. The problem with Ghostbusters 2 and sequels, Ghostbusters as a franchise in general.
Yes. So let's start with Ghostbusters 1984.
Yes. I have my DVD here signed by Ernie Hudson. I met him a couple times. We were on an elevator together once. I'll tell that story another time, but yes.
On an episode of Underbelly, we met him at a con, and I asked him why he's not in any of the games.
I asked him why he wasn't on the poster for Ghostbusters 2, and he couldn't give me an answer.
Me either. So he was a little sad. But Ghostbusters, 1984 Ghostbusters, is the greatest going into business movie ever made.
It's great.
It's great. Yes. It's amazing that the villain of the movie is technically the head of the Environmental Protection Agency.
Yeah.
So it's very much a movie of its time. It's about Reagan-era politics and anti-big business and anti-regulation. Yeah. So I think that's great. It's the first comedy to have big special effects.
Yeah.
It's a great standalone movie for adults.
Standalone is the important word you're using there.
That kids saw and went, they wear sci-fi backpacks and fight monsters. This is awesome.
Yes.
So they made a cartoon.
I'm going to pause you real quick.
Yes.
If you're wondering why I'm wearing an iPad.
Oh, yeah.
Please watch the Transfers episode. Anyway, continue. I just realized there's probably people who skip Transfers
or they haven't seen the show in a while and they're like, yo, he got beat up again by Kieran.
Yeah, like when I broke my nose.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. They made a cartoon.
They made a cartoon. Michael J. Straczynski did it. The first 3 seasons are fucking great.
Yeah.
But it's a different Ghostbusters than the Ghostbusters in this movie. In the first movie.
In the first movie, yes.
And it became so popular, and they're like, we need a sequel. And the guys from the Ghostbusters were like, well, we're doing our own thing. So finally they got them to come around and do Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, and they were all unexcited to do it.
And it shows. You can tell who's enjoying themselves and who's not enjoying themselves in this movie. So let me take you back to the summer of 1989.
Now, keep in mind, I was not born until the fall of 1989, so I missed this.
I was 7.5 years old.
Okay.
The summer of 1989 was...
I was a fetus. Anyway, keep going.
Ghostbusters 2, Batman, Back to the Future 2, Lethal Weapon 2, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, UHF. This was the summer that I fell in love with movies. Like,
Pause.
Yes.
You keep bringing up UHF.
I loved UHF.
No, I love UHF.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
But nobody cared about it.
It was not a big movie like the ones you named.
I saw it in a dollar theater.
You put UHF over Star Trek V. Star Trek V was a bad movie, but it did a little bit better than UHF, God damn it.
All right. I saw Star Trek V in the theater as well.
Yeah.
So my parents were going towards getting divorced. So they were trying to rekindle things. So they would go out on like Saturday nights or whatever.
Yeah.
And I had a babysitter, and her name was Angela, and she used to take us to the video store all the time because it was too late at night to go to the movies at that point.
Yeah.
And she realized that I was like fucking in love with movies and just watching everything, and I was talking about writing and all this kind of stuff. So this was the summer that all that came together. So she's like, so there's a drive-in, Echo drive-in became the Echo multiplex.
Yeah.
And she's like, we're gonna go see Batman at the drive-in. Okay. We're gonna go see Ghostbusters 2 at the drive-in. Fucking awesome. So Ghostbusters 2 comes out opening night, Friday night at the drive-in, and she's like, well, before we go out, we're going to go to TGI Fridays. And I'm like, fucking yeah, I'm 7.5 years old. Let's go, My brother's like 4. So she takes us both to the drive-in to see Ghostbusters 2. We go out to eat first, eating whatever, I don't know what I had, burger probably. Yeah. So we go see the movie, and in the middle of the movie, she's complaining about not feeling so well.
Oh, no.
She got food poisoning, and she shit her pants during the movie.
Pause. We will review the movie soon. Keep going.
She shit her pants during the thing, and she's like, I'd never forget, she's like hovering off of her seat because it's her mom's car that she drove us in. And I can remember this as clear as day, okay? Because I was wearing a black t-shirt that said, I got slimed, and it had like little green slime. There's a picture of me in it. I gotta find it. If my parents still talk to me, which they don't anymore because of the election. So she shit her pants. But she also forgot to turn the car off so that the audio thing, so the car was dead. So now she's shitty pants. We're in not a great area. So she sends 7-year-old me over to this pickup truck where these 2 dudes were drinking beers to ask them to jump the car. And it was an experience, and it was a night that I will never forget, and I'm glad that I got to tell that story on this show. And I liked it when I saw it in the theater, but I felt like something was wrong.
Yes. Follow up. So did your parents work out?
No. Wait, this is after the New Year's?
Yeah.
Maybe things worked out.
So 1989 they did it, but maybe 2021 they'll finally get back together.
Oh, I thought you meant too because they weren't talking to me anymore.
Oh no, I meant because you said they were going on dates to fix the relationship. They get
no when you when you have a half sister.
Yeah.
People don't usually rekindle after that kind of stuff.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm a fucking open book.
My experience with Ghostbusters 2, I was just told to connect more with our audience and be more personal, and I think we're doing a pretty good job. My experience with Ghostbusters 2, I probably saw this before Ghostbusters 1, because like I said, I was born in 89. So as you grow up, you watch whatever is new. So I watched Batman a lot. I watched whatever was big at that time. Because like by the time I'm like 2 or 3, those movies are playing on cable.
Yeah.
So Indiana Jones 3 was probably the first one I saw. I feel like I saw this one up until like college. I probably saw 2 more than 1.
Okay.
Maybe high school. That's when I started watching 1 a little bit more.
So, pause.
Okay.
Do you want to know the first time I ever saw the first Ghostbusters?
What?
So the first time I ever saw Ghostbusters was in 1986.
Okay.
I was in kindergarten, and my friend Brian, who the kid I told you the story about, whose parents said you can never come over again.
Friday the 13th episode.
Friday the 13th episode.
1 to 3.
His older brother goes, you guys want to watch Ghostbusters? I have Ghostbusters. And we're like, yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah. I had like Starlog magazine. He popped in a tape, and it was a straight up porno movie. And to this day, I still remember the name of the movie. And then he's like, haha, I'm just kidding. The movie was called The Taste of Money. And I'll never forget that. But I remember asking my mom what a pearl necklace was. And she was like, what? And I was like,
it's the thing Batman's mom wore.
Yeah, exactly. So then he's like, I'm just kidding. And then we watched Ghostbusters, and the scene where the hands come out of the thing and grab her, the kid ran and hid in his bedroom. So now it's just me and his teenage brother sitting in his like living room, like Bill Murray's funny.
Yes.
So that's my story with the first time I ever saw Ghostbusters.
Right. So yeah, I definitely remember sitting and watching Ghostbusters 2 a couple times. And eventually I saw the first one, and I liked that one a lot. But the thing is, like, as I got older, Ghostbusters 1 stayed really good.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters 1 got funnier as I got older.
Yeah, when you get the joke.
It's even funnier now. Like, I haven't watched it in like a couple years, and I watched it the other day, and I'm like, wow, like, there's even more stuff I'm catching on. Ghostbusters is great. Ghostbusters 2
was a contractual obligation.
As I got older, I'm like, oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that was kind of funny. And I'm like, oh, this kind of... That could have been better.
Yeah,
Now I'm at full on, this movie fucking sucks.
And then from rewatching it again the other night, and you and I going back and forth through messages and stuff like that, I loved this movie when I was a kid. You know, there was Toys, there was the Now Comics adaptation where it was the movie story, but with the cartoon characters. And I love, still to this day, I love the soundtrack. Ghostbusters 2 is a fucking great soundtrack.
The soundtracks are like completely soundtrack.
I know, but still, I love the soundtrack.
So what you said about the toys. So I missed out on the initial Ghost. I did watch the cartoon growing up, but at that point it had been like reruns. I'm not watching anything like... By the time I got old enough to like sit and watch TV, I was watching like Batman the Animated Series and Power Rangers.
So when Ghostbusters started, they used to do this thing where they would go to like malls and they would have people like dressed up as the characters who were going to be the new Saturday morning thing. And they would do like a show. And I remember going to the Echelon Mall in South Jersey and they had guys like dressed up as the Ghostbusters and they're like coming out to the song and you got like a little like poster with the thing. So that was, I was like, oh, there's going to be that not porno movie is going to be a cartoon, you know? So, and then I had all the fucking toys. These are the reprint ones of the originals. I have some of the originals at home. These were given to me by my buddy Michael Ingram, who's a movie producer, and he sent me these. So these are super cool.
So I don't have the connection with the cartoon. I did watch it. I didn't follow it religiously. I wasn't watching at the height of it.
I had a jumpsuit when I was a kid. Yeah.
But I liked Ghostbusters. I did watch Extreme Ghostbusters.
I never saw that. That was like the wheelchair kid and like...
It's not good. I watched it because it was just on and I would do other things.
It was like the same people did like the Godzilla and Jackie Chan animation.
It had that kind of look.
Yeah.
So, Ghostbusters 2 now. The problem with this movie... well, there's many.
Yeah.
But the big one is it had to incorporate stuff from the cartoon because of how well that was selling merchandise. And that really hurts this movie. Because the funny... And I get if you love the cartoon as a kid, and this has cartoons, so you love it, but like, the funny stuff from the first one is like Bill Murray being a sex pervert.
Exactly,
like, it was the adult humor, the starting a business. Like, the proton packs and whatnot, that was fun. It's good for little kids. There's some slapsticky stuff. There's some fun stuff in it.
It's a ghost blowjob.
Yeah, that was a whole other
someone talking about how they throw parties for clients. Like, that whole scene now that I'm older is fucking
not funny as a kid.
Yeah.
Funny now.
Exactly.
Because it was meant for, like, an older audience. Like, the Saturday Night Live audience. But this movie is not. This movie's trying to be more of a family film. And it's PG. It's not even... Well, this one's probably PG... This one was PG, but it was before the 13 rating.
But it's definitely a PG-13 movie.
Yeah, it would be now. Yeah.
And it was PG even after PG-13 was a thing. And it was like, I remember when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 came out, and me being a little fucking cinema snob then, and being like, oh, it's like Ghostbusters 2. They changed it for the kids, and you know.
And then this was put into production after the writer strike.
Yeah.
So Howard Ramis and Dan Aykroyd, they probably were like, let's just write it quick.
Yeah.
Let's get it quick.
Get it out of here.
So that doesn't help. And, so characters were straight up changed.
Yeah.
To look, so no one smokes in this movie.
No, well, one scene.
Brian Doyle Murray smokes a cigarette.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd has a pipe, but no one's smoking cigarettes.
No.
They were smoking cigarettes like constantly throughout the first one. And it wasn't just like they just didn't want to do it. It's like, oh, you can't.
Can't because of the kids stuff. Yeah, they look to change the look of Janine.
Yeah, Janine looks and kind of acts completely different.
Almost no one in this movie is the same character.
And then Slimer
looks different.
Is their like friend because of the cartoon?
But not he's Lewis's friend. He never connects with the Ghostbusters
not even
at
really
all.
Lewis's friend. Yeah, there's no reason for Slimer to be in this movie other than they needed him in there because of the
There's
cartoon.
no.
But he never interacts with the Ghostbusters.
There's no reason for most of the characters in it, they're in it because you know them from the first one and they made toys of them.
And then they made Winston shave his mustache.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, Winston is the only logical character in this whole fucking movie.
But why didn't they make him shave his mustache?
Because he didn't have a mustache in the cartoon.
Then why isn't Harold Ramis blonde? Why isn't Dan Aykroyd a ginger?
Yeah.
So stupid!
Racism.
Whatchamacallit, Ivan Reitman had to postpone Kindergarten Cop
Exactly.
to do this movie. Kindergarten Cop's way better. Yeah. Not that that's a great movie.
I will agree with you. Kindergarten Cop is a better movie. I'm glad we
could agree. We don't agree on a lot of things.
So let's start where this thing kicks in.
Okay, yeah. So this is about 4 hours into the review.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the movie. So
5 years later.
Yeah, we just start 5 years later.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
From what?
Like from the first movie?
Yeah.
Some slime comes out of the ground.
Mm-hmm. Pink slime.
Pink slime. Green. You make it green.
Green slime, yes.
From a marketing standpoint, it's green.
But it was pink because all the slime from the toys was pink.
Anyway, so Sigourney Weaver has her baby.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, the one baby.
Oh yeah, one of the Oscars
he killed himself
dead.
a few years ago. So Sigourney Weaver's wheeling down the street with her baby. They wheel over the slime, and everyone's being dicks to each other.
Yeah, but it's obviously Los Angeles, backlot to New York, PG New York. So like a girl on crutches gets bumped, and like a guy's like, "Urgh."
Yeah. It looks like Seinfeld. It looks like
no, exactly.
Seinfeld.
Yep. I was waiting for somebody to like come across with a Frogger machine. Like.
So then she's like asking the super question. Then the carriage takes the baby away.
Yeah. My favorite part is the baby carriage is flying down the street, and a dude honks his horn like the baby's gonna like.
But
stop.
You think the baby's gonna be like, oh no?
Yeah, or the baby gives him the finger, like.
Yeah. So. That was weird. And then, and then it just cuts to the Ghostbusters logo.
Yeah.
I'm like, shouldn't you start with a ghost?
Yeah. And I was thinking, okay,
I mean, I guess the first one didn't show the ghost right away.
No.
But it's just kind of...
And then I was like, well, rewatching, I was like, well, so was Oscar marked in that scene? Like, is that the reason? Was because, or was it just so happened to be
the plot is
Dana.
so fucking dumb in this movie. So yeah, that happens. And then, I like the peace sign logo.
I do.
And I actually went to the Ghostbusters
Firehouse.
I've been there a couple times, but I went there like a few months after 9/11 on a Boy Scout trip.
Oh, okay.
That was the first time I went there.
That seems like a trip you'd never forget.
I never forgot it. I already made a never forget trip a few episodes ago. But yeah, when I went there, they still had the Ghostbusters 2
Yeah, I've seen
sign.
pictures of it.
So I thought that was cool. And I was disappointed because I didn't realize like the inside was completely different.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they couldn't fit any of that shit in
No,
here.
exactly.
So we find out Ray and Winston are speeding along in the Ecto-1.
And you think they're going to bust a ghost.
Bust some ghosts, and then they show up at a kid's birthday party.
Yeah.
And it's Jason Reitman.
Yes, who's directing the new one.
He's next in line to further ruin Ghostbusters. Exactly. Director's son,
it's the
Jason
lineage.
Reitman. Yeah, and they're like upset because they want He-Man. Now,
and in 1989... there was the New Adventures of He-Man where he made him slim and gave him a ponytail.
Okay.
And it looked kind of like Saturday morning anime-like.
Yeah.
And that always bothered me in 1989, seeing that, and I was like, why? Like, at that point, I was hardcore into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
like,
that
we were
would be
a couple
like
months away from that movie coming out, you know?
Yeah, like I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would have been... that would be like if they referenced Power Rangers after like 1996.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it was still technically there, but the one you remember it already faded.
Wasn't that anymore.
Yeah.
But they basically, Jason Reitman is like, my dad says you went out of business because you're full of crap, which is where the story completely falls apart.
Yes. Okay. So by the way, in a movie that's trying to be closer to the show. This is not in continuity with the show.
No, exactly. The show made references to the movies a couple times. They're on the DVD. The episodes, there's like 3 episodes that reference the movies.
Yeah.
The one with the suits is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that one's good. That one's good.
Yeah. But the Ghostbusters were sued by every state and county and district because they said that they made the whole thing up.
When they clearly didn't.
There was the sky was talking and a 100-foot marshmallow man came out. All you have to do is test the fucking marshmallow that was on
There was
people.
so much evidence that they didn't do it.
It was like Transformers 2, where they're like, there was no giant
There
robot.
was a cover-up. I'm like, how did you cover that up?
Were the fucking Men in Black involved? Like, and that's why I'm just like, here's how you do Ghostbusters 2.
Okay.
Okay?
Please, tell me.
My idea. Everybody saw the fight against Gozer, all right? Fucking Marshmallow Man, and they're like, oh shit, we need Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
In the first movie, Bill Murray says the franchise rights alone will make us, every city has Ghostbusters now, all right? For the last 5 years, maybe they're serving in New York, maybe other people are doing it, they're on the board of whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's a problem somewhere else that's bigger than Gozer.
Okay.
And the Ghostbusters there can't handle it.
Yes.
So then you bring the Ghostbusters from this movie to work with the Ghostbusters of that movie. Say you're going to do it in 1989 again.
Yeah.
There were probably huge comedians at that point that weren't these guys. Now it's a chance to bring in other comedians in another city where it would be a lot of fun. That's how you do Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
And they have everybody's got new weapons, and you can have new ghosts and stuff like that.
They were going to do it like in a haunted mansion or
That was the other plan, was they were going to go to like a haunted castle, but it was
Yeah.
the same summer that Last Crusade came out, and originally Last Crusade was going to be about a haunted castle.
Right.
You know?
And then they only go to a castle for a little bit.
So I was like, that's how you do it. They stay in business, and you just do it. Somebody outside of the video store.
Oh, wow.
We're
closed.
It's a ghost, maybe. We've had some bad experience with ghosts.
Yeah. Yeah. I left that off of the negative 2020 stuff. Here's my idea. If you want to do the whole they're out of business.
Yeah.
Just say, because remember, the reason they were so busy in the first one was Gozer was bringing the dead back to life. You just say Gozer went away and there were like no ghosts.
Yeah, yep.
Like they had a ghost maybe once or twice a year. Like they could not enough to stay in business.
Okay, yeah, that would
makes
work.
more sense. If you want to go the route that they're out of business, that's what you do. It's right there for you. And I don't know why they didn't just do that.
But then I like that they're at the birthday party and they sing the Ghostbusters song, which means that the Ghostbusters theme song exists in continuity with the Ghostbusters in their lives.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of Fast and the Furious 2 has a song by Ludacris in it, but then Ludacris becomes an actor, and I feel like it's like one of those things where the dimension collapses in on itself.
That happens in this movie. Bobby Brown shows up and during his song.
Yeah, and he's like, hey.
I don't mind that too much in a comedy. Like Gremlins, they sing the Gremlins theme.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird in stuff like Solo, a Star Wars story.
A little bit.
When you hear the Empire theme.
And it's like
and it's like, if that movie had been a comedy, which I think it was supposed to be, fine. But it feels weird.
Instead, it's like if I was to go into like a recruitment center and I hear like, an American song. It's weird.
Like Hulk Hogan's theme.
Yes, exactly. I am a...
Yeah, and then we get a lame exposition drop where they're like, we got blah, 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 blah. There's an exposition drop like 2 seconds later.
Yes.
All right, so we meet, what's his name? Egon.
Yeah.
And he's got a couple in therapy, and you have a note here.
Oh,
Please
yes.
Explain this.
So, he's doing like tests on people by like leaving them waiting for a really long time and turning the heat up to test their like negative energy. So I had an ex, and she was like, we should be in couples therapy, and I was like, all right, fine, let's do it. Well, it was a situation sort of like that.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to her, hey, this is a lot like that scene in Ghostbusters 2. And our relationship didn't last a lot longer after that.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
And in the other room, there's a girl with a puppy.
Who's his other daughter.
Ivan Reitman's daughter.
The girl with the dead tooth and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah. But so Dana's there telling him about the baby. She goes to him first. And then she gives an exposition dump
I
on
was
what
married,
happened.
and then he left.
Yeah. She broke up with Bill Murray, married another guy, but then they divorced.
Did she marry the dude who's in the first one who does the nasal spray?
I don't know. So then she has a baby and no daddy, and then she's like, "Oh, can you look into this?" And I don't want Venkman involved.
How would he get a job at a university after he's been discredited like that?
That is a good point. Yeah, if he
like,
was
don't they look
discredited.
at wouldn't like NYU or something like that go?
Because why wouldn't Ray get a job?
Well, Ray, and then what's Winston been doing? You can't make enough.
Why is Winston in this movie? He's so in and out of this movie.
But it's like, okay, here's the thing.
He's such an afterthought.
Winston was not part of the original guys who came up with this plan.
Yeah.
If all that shit happened, like say you and I, say something happened and Hack the Movies had to fight a giant monster.
Yeah.
But I just joined the show this year.
Yeah.
When everything happened, I'd be like, bye! And you would never see me again. Winston would move to fucking Newark, keep his mustache, because fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's... The movie doesn't know what to do with Winston, which sucks. Like, I get the first movie, he shows up late.
Because he's your conduit into this world. You're like everyman.
If he's here now, have him be part of the movie.
And they cut out all of his best lines in the movie. If you watch the deleted scenes, I'm like, oh, what the fuck, Yeah.
Because
I like Ernie Hudson as an actor a lot. He gets a lot of shit because he goes to conventions dressed up in the thing. He's a really fucking good actor, and he doesn't get the credit that he deserves.
I love him in Congo.
Me too, yeah.
So then we find out what Peter Venkman's been doing, and this is the funniest.
I love this scene, yeah.
He has like a public access
show, yeah.
The psychic, and he's got Kevin Dunn, I think is his name.
The dad from Transformers.
And then the mom from Shameless is also there. And
when I was a kid, I didn't get her story, and as you get older, she just fucked another dude in a Paramus Holiday Inn.
So your alien had a room at the Holiday Inn, Paramus.
It might have been a room on the spacecraft made up to look like a room at the Holiday Inn. I can't be sure about that, Peter.
Of course not. And that is the whole problem with aliens.
But I love Kevin Dunn. He predicts it's going to end on New Year's Eve. And I love when Peter Venkman's like, well, that, from a marketing standpoint, like, you got to wait. The paperback
you're not going to know if you got that movie of the week. But he was right. If they didn't intervene, the world would have ended on New Year's Eve.
That's true. So that's funny. Yeah. I do like that scene. Then she's like, it's going to end on Valentine's Day. And he's just like, bummer.
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
But I love when he's like, next week, we're going to have skinless cat. And he goes, Ira, skinless cat.
So I had, my first cat was a hairless cat, and I named it Ira because of this movie, so.
And that was pretty good. That's pretty funny.
The whole movie could have just been that show.
Yeah. And then they run into the mayor. The mayor ignores him. And then Kurt Fuller is there, and he's replacing the Arthur Peck character.
With,
and who I guess was like, I'm in Die Hard 2 now.
Yeah,
bye.
I don't need this shit. People are going to call me Dickless for the rest of my career.
And I like Kurt Fuller.
So do I.
I think he's the bad guy in No Holds Barred.
And Dreamcatcher.
Yeah.
With the shit weasels.
Yes. So Kurt Fuller is basically playing that character. Yeah. He's like, leave the mayor alone, you're a hack.
He's like, I'm a registered voter. Aren't you supposed to lie to me and kiss my butt?
And then we get the Vigo painting.
Yes.
And Vigo is the villain in this movie for some reason. Vigo's there.
Yeah.
And he's... Okay, so Dana is now an art restoration?
Yeah, I don't know how you go from cellist in the New York Symphony Orchestra to restoring paintings.
Oh, look, I'm not saying you can't. But it seemed like... It wasn't just like, oh, I play music and paint. It's like that was her career, was the orchestra.
And I think that being the cellist in the, like, New York is like the place, Where do you go from that?
But then she's, like, specifically art restoration, not painting, restoration.
I imagine, though, that she lied about the job because she was associated with the Ghostbusters, and she's the one who did that awful painting in, like, Spain where they fucked it up real bad. I turned into a dog once. Leave me alone.
But we get to meet Janusz.
The best character in the movie.
Janusz.
The only one in this movie who's having fun.
Who's really going for it.
Yes.
I mean, I think, what's his face? Like Tully and Janine.
Yeah.
I feel like they're trying, but their characters are kind of...
They up the nerdness. But every time I see Peter McNichol from this movie... Like, because he was on Ally McBeal.
Yes.
And I was just like, oh, it's Janusz Poha. Like,
and he's great. Apparently, this whole character was, like, his idea. Like, he did the accent. He had the whole, like, he's also from Carpathia or something.
I say every day, why you go brunch? And say no brunch, so I have bad breath or something.
And then is this where the painting, the painting bubbles?
And no one else in the room knows.
No one else sees it.
Yeah. This is another one of those movies that could have been solved by peripheral. Like, well, maybe you wouldn't be able to.
I wouldn't be able to see it. Again, watch the Trancers review. I explain this. It's a long review. I don't know why we've talked about it. It's longer than this review, probably. So the head bubble comes out, and then it's like no one sees it.
Yeah.
And the Vigo actor, Now, you said he's a maniac. I knew he was, like, super difficult, but I don't know the specifics. He was a henchman in Die Hard.
Yes, but I just know that he had, like, a very problematic past.
Yeah, I heard he wasn't really easy to work with, but he's voiced by Max von Sydow.
Max von Sydow from, The
Exorcist.
I was going to say Star Wars Episode 7.
No, we don't like those movies.
Oh, right, we like these movies.
We like the prequels now.
Watch the Trancers episode.
Yes, anyway.
Last week on
so Max von Sydow shows up. Mm-hmm. And actually, bonus, when you play the Ghostbusters video game, the newer one, when they have the painting in the firehouse, which doesn't make sense, but you could talk to it.
Well, and because it changed at the end.
I know, we'll get to that. You could talk to the painting, and Max von Sydow came back, and he says like little one-liners and stuff. So he's there, and then they go to Ray's occult bookstore.
Yes, which I have a T-shirt of the logo.
Yes, so it's Ray, Egon, and Venkman. No Winston, he's just somewhere else.
Yeah.
But they cut out a lead up to this, so the whole thing was like, Venkman called and pranked and did a voice.
Yeah.
Asking for a book about cats or something. So when he comes into the thing and he's pretending to be someone else, that's supposed to be the payoff for that joke. Instead, he just looks like a weirdo. And then he's like, I got your book on cats. It's like, when did he... What? When maybe because the hairless cats? I don't understand.
Yeah, well, he wanted love potion aerosol for a penthouse pet. Maybe that's,
And they're talking about, like, Dana Barrett and whatnot.
Because he pulls on Ray's ears and makes him tell him who they're doing a job for.
Yes. And then you want to do your calzone joke?
Oh, there was no... Oh, what did I say about the calzone?
Tony, let's close this place.
Yeah, Tony, why don't we close this place up so you could buy me a calzone?
No.
Oh, all right.
Then Dana's playing the cello again.
Yeah,
to remind you, but then all it does is make the new thing confusing.
Yeah.
And they go to explore Dana's thing, and Winston is also not in the scene.
Yeah.
Like, what is he?
We should look.
Does he have a second job?
That's what I'm thinking.
Like, does he show up for parties and then does he do something else?
I imagine like Winston is married and his wife is like, you gotta fucking stop hanging out with those dudes. Like.
Yeah. I will say, Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver definitely still have good chemistry
together. Yeah.
Bill Murray is only acting in scenes with her because it seems like it's the only thing he cares about to do in this movie.
Yeah, he's phoning this in. Like,
his chemistry with the other Ghostbusters just really isn't there, and he doesn't really. I feel like he's also disconnected from them. Like he has scenes with them, but it feels like he's not really with.
And he loves that coat.
He loves that coat. He wears he sleeps in this coat. I don't understand what the coat is about.
You know how Bill Murray's like a weirdo and like he doesn't have an agent and he has like a phone number and like he just shows up places? I probably think like he was like, Columbia was like, where'd you? And he's like, all right, but I gotta wear this coat the entire time. And he's like, oh, if you say I can't wear this coat, I'm not gonna be in the movie. And they're like, oh my God, just put him in the fucking coat. They should have made a Ghostbusters figure in the coat.
In the coat, yeah. I do like when they're like, what's wrong with the baby? And he's like, well, he's ugly. Is his father ugly? I like when he's making fun of the baby. That's kind of funny.
Senor.
And then you have the line where it's like, I like to do some psychological tests on the mother. He's like, who wouldn't?
Oh, gynecological. I would like to do some gynecological tests on the mother. Who wouldn't? But that feels like it's a throwaway, like he made that up line, you know? Yeah. A lot of the best lines in this movie feel like just things that he just said.
That's the problem. Like, we're laughing at stuff. It's mostly the one-liners.
Yeah.
There are some fun sequences, but like outside of the one-liners and like just little moments, like, there's nothing like entirely funny like the first
There's no
movie.
scene, there's no, like the scene in the elevator in the first one, leading into the bite your head off man, into him turning him on and everybody moving to the other side.
Yeah.
That's a funny scene.
It's just funny, and then almost shooting the maid,
lady.
Like, it's funny.
What the hell are you doing?
But this one, you gotta like sit through a scene and wait for something like, oh, that was kind of funny.
The pacing in this movie is weird.
It is really weird. Feels long.
Yes,
longer
it did.
than this review.
I kept pausing it the other night to do things, and I'm like, I know how it ends, but I have to watch it for these fucking notes to do this stupid show.
Yeah. So then they go to like check out the street.
Yeah.
He almost gets hit by a car. He's like, relax, you're on the meter.
Relax, you're on the meter.
And then they somehow, even though they're supposed to be broke or whatever, they have construction equipment, and they're just digging a hole in the middle of First Avenue.
Yep.
And it's just really like, why?
I do like when the cop keeps coming back, and he's like, what are you digging? He's like, I got,
He's like, I got this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Some asshole downtown makes me some diaper bags.
Yeah. What do you think? This is coming from the sky? And he's like, the phone lines are over there. What did I tell you? The phone lines are over there.
That's the second time. But then they're like, yeah, right, Ziggy? And Egon just goes, yo.
Egon gets more to do in this one.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, he wrote, probably gave himself, he's like, Bill Murray doesn't want to be in this movie.
So
I
I'm
gotta
going to
give
write myself
to
more
do.
things.
You have this down here where like the someone's got to go down there scene just seems.
It just feels awkward. Like it does. The first movie, you go back and watch it, and these are three guys at the top of their game who are playing off each other fantastically. This one just feels like it feels like something you and I would shoot. Like, you know?
But while this is happening, Janusz gets zapped with lightning
in the eyes.
And then he's talking to Vigo.
But I like how quickly he's like, "Oh, command me, Lord!" He just gave up. Like,
and Vigo's like, "I am the Scourger Carpathian."
Yeah, the sorrow of Moldavia.
Yeah, the century of pain begins.
Yeah, I sit on a throne of blood. Now is the season of evil.
Yeah.
Evil.
Yeah. So he like So does he tell him to get the baby?
Yes, he says to him, he's like, a baby, and that's when he gets zapped with that. But it's funny because he turns him into Renfield from Dracula.
Pretty much.
But then he plays Renfield in the Leslie Nielsen Dracula.
But yeah, as good as Janusz is, like, he's maybe being mind controlled, but then he has powers which we'll get to.
Exactly.
It's not clear, like, what's going, like...
Because they didn't know how to write this. The first one was Lovecraftian.
Yeah, but like Louis Tully in the first one. Dog goes in him. He's the dog. He's Vince Clortho.
Yeah, yep.
We get it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the dog's in there.
The keymaster, the gatekeeper,
We get
boom,
it. We get it. This one, it's like, all right, so what exactly is Janusz now?
Yeah. How was it connected to the... Was the painting always cursed? Was it down there?
Painting! The painting, it's the physical painting.
Why didn't the painting, if it was already cursed, it's down in storage, just some fucking dude is moving shit, it goes, boom, you're possessed now.
Yeah.
I'm Vigo.
Yeah, so that's confusing. Then we cut back to Ray, and he's above the river of slime.
Yeah, they send him down into the...
which looks like the Blob remake.
Yes.
Because the Blob remake
because they made it
pink.
pink, and I was like, oh. And, while he's down there, like, the little tentacles come out, and then the cops show up, and they're pulling him up out of the thing, and he kicks a pipe,
and then
that one pipe in an abandoned sewer line controls all of New York, and I'm like, fucking Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah. So while this blackout happens, he said he was yelling at Rudy Giuliani, please. I want to point out.
Giuliani wasn't even the mayor at that point.
Newt said the annoying liberal thing. Please stop, because you and Johanna, people comment yelling at me for stuff that you guys say.
Oh.
So direct your hate to Newt.
It gets way worse in these notes. Don't you worry about that. Just hold on to that hate a little bit.
So if you hate Rudy Giuliani, or you love Rudy Giuliani, and you hate what Newt said, yell at Newt, not me. Please. God damn it. I wake up to a thing, someone's yelling at me, and I respond, I'm like, I didn't say that.
But he wasn't mayor yet, so he was, I'm not in trouble.
New York is in a blackout.
Yeah.
And Janusz shows up to check on Dana. And he's all awkward.
Yeah.
And stuff.
He's like, you want me to come in? Like, but I like, he's possessed. He knows he's possessed, and he's trying to keep it together. Yeah. Which just adds to the. I was like, he's so good in this.
Yeah.
It's wasted on him. Yeah. You know.
Imagine if he didn't put his all into this. This would have been a much more boring movie. Yep. But then, because the lights are out,
so he has
eyes light up.
Yeah. He gets like the thing that Short Round had in Goonies with like the
I guess
lights,
I haven't seen Goonies in like 15 years,
really?
Dude. I'm not a Goonies kid. Oh. Anyway, so the lights open up, and he's just like, oh, and it's a cool effect. Yeah. But it's like, why? I guess it's dark. But
that's whatever. What they put into this movie, and even Bill Murray said, he's like, yeah, well, they lost sight of it because they were more worried about the special effects and stuff like that.
Yeah, Murray, don't throw the effects guys under the bus. Murray, you had a lot of problems with this fucking movie, too. Wouldn't it have killed you to be a little thrilled to be in the movie?
The check cleared.
So then we cut to them in court. They're already in court, apparently.
Yeah, that was quick.
And Winston's there as a witness. At first, I thought he was on the stand. I'm like, why is he in trouble?
He's just going to make sure his friends are okay.
But he's just there as a witness. Yeah. And then this is another, we need this character in here. And it's Rick Moranis coming back as Tully. But even he's like, I don't think you really should go with me. I only done some tax law and stuff. And
He's like, I mostly got my degree at night. He's like, that's fine. We got arrested at night.
yeah, that's good. Again, good line.
Yeah.
Not really a good scene.
No, not at all.
Although Rick Moranis does try in this.
Yes.
But yeah, so they had to like come up with a half-ass reason where now he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
I guess tax law, kind of, but he was just a straight-up accountant in the
And you would
first
think,
one.
like, if they got sued by everybody, like they said, they would know lawyers.
He'd probably have a better chance with the public defender.
Yeah.
So Tully's there, and I do like Tully's. I like when he's all like, "Oh, the lights went out, and I had to make the whole time, but they really helped." And
One time I turned into a dog.
and they fixed me.
And Ray just puts his head down.
I do love when he's talking to Peter, like Bill Murray's feeding him what to say. He's like,
So you were just trying to help out a friend
Who was frightened?
who was scared of what was happening to her.
No
And
evil
when you're
intent.
scared, what?
There was no evil.
There was no evil intent and no malice.
I live here.
Because you live here. When you live in a place and you love it like you do, you don't want nothing bad to happen. What? Because it'll never happen again. It's an isolated incident. It's a one-shot deal.
So
whispering.
Lewis could have been a Trump lawyer.
again, he said that I am apolitical. I have no opinions on anything because I want everyone to watch the show. He said it. Leave your comments for him, not me. God damn it.
That wasn't even in the notes. That was just, let's see if Tony can get yelled at.
The Devil's Advocate review, which was months ago. I got a comment on that recently,
I
bitching
saw.
at me for what you said.
Yeah, I saw.
Anyway,
So they bring out the slime,
they bring up the slide.
and they ask the guy from Con Ed if he had ever seen it before.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've been working underground for 30 years, and I ain't never seen anything like that, and I'm from New York, and if there's something down there, they had to put it there. And they're like, no, we didn't.
Yeah. And by the way, I want to point out, so it's mood slime. So the slime starts reacting.
Yeah.
And you can see underneath the thing where
Yep.
it's shaking. I'm like, why does white? I'm like, that's a bad effect.
Yeah.
Like a paper or something in front of it.
Exactly,
Like, you could-
yep.
I know we would be like, oh, it's covering up, but it's better than seeing like the
Yeah.
part of it. So that was kind of weird. But then the Scolari brothers.
The Scolari brother, and he knows who they are right away, which made me, because they're ghosts and they look like Muppets, and I was
Yeah.
like, wait, did they look like that when they were alive?
I don't know, but also it brings up more questions. So like the slime, does it bring ghosts specific to certain people? Because it never does that before.
Exactly.
And it never does it again.
They needed a set piece, but the funny
Did they
thing was,
get killed in the courthouse? That doesn't make
No,
sense. Why
yeah.
are there ghosts there? Other than they wanted a judge to be like, oh, I gave him the chair, but like
Yeah.
it doesn't make
yeah,
sense.
but I did have a funny idea. Remember when Making a Murderer came out, the Netflix series?
Yeah.
I thought it would be great to do a trailer on the Scolari brothers as season 2, but I never did it because nobody likes my ideas.
So yeah, the ghosts attack, and the Ghostbusters are like, well, you said we weren't illegal. It was illegal for us to do this.
Yeah.
And he's like, fine, you can be Ghostbusters again.
Which is how the law works.
So that's exactly
Yeah.
how it works. So then they're like suiting up, and you pointed out like the ghosts are just gone.
Yeah.
They just let them put the
They
equipment
dragged
on?
that lady out.
Yeah.
So they're out there, like you would think the cops are gonna be like, well, fuck this shit, like,
Yeah.
and just start doing stuff.
Yeah.
But it gives them time to quip and equip. I
Very
wrote that
funny.
down.
Joe, Ray, Egon.
Yeah.
Wasn't
It's
that
not as good as the first one.
And then they bust them. And
But no, they zap at them first, and then the ghosts go away, and they're like, ha, 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 ha. And it's like, you know how this works.
We established that's not how it works. You need to put them in the trap.
There's a whole first movie up. Remember the time you thought you neutronized
Yeah.
Gozer and it didn't actually do it?
or Slimer, didn't they?
No,
do-
they did it with Gozer at
Oh,
the end.
right,
Remember, they're
right,
like
right.
total platonic, whatever.
right.
And it's like, no, that's not how that works. And then the chairs stop popping up, and then they bust a ghost.
And then they do that stupid line.
But I do like the weird, like, old-timey movie where Lewis comes in and goes, wow. And it's like, it felt like an old-timey movie. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I was like, all right, that's cute.
But then they do the thing where like we be fast and
They be slow.
That's
Yeah.
stupid.
We're back. Yeah.
Yeah, they come out and they're like, we're back.
We're the best. We're the beautiful. We're the only Ghostbusters.
And then the song
Sucks.
kicks in.
Yes. But then it switches to a different song.
It starts out with Run DMC.
Okay,
And
yeah.
again,
Yeah,
I listen to this soundtrack a lot.
It's not a bad soundtrack.
No, it's not. It's got a fucking awesome Oingo Boingo song
Yeah.
in it.
And then Janine comes back.
Yeah.
She didn't get a job in the
subsequent 5
5
years.
years. She was a receptionist.
After she's like, I quit better jobs than this. I'll stick around.
She didn't get another job? Like, what the fuck?
I would have written a fucking tell-all book about it, you know?
I mean, she's looking pretty good in this one.
She was, yeah.
But
this was in the middle of her designing women phase, too,
yes.
so, you know.
Yeah, and then we see, like, a montage. We see the dark gray suits, or
Yes.
the blue suits, whatever they are. And, like, that's in all the advertisements.
Yeah.
It's, like, in everything.
Yeah.
And then, midway through production, they're like,
They
we
just
don't like
stop.
these
Yeah.
suits. Let's switch back to the other one. It's like, well, you gotta, like, what? You gotta pick. Like,
Yeah.
you can't...
And I was, when I
Isn't this for a toy line, I assume?
Even when I was a kid, I was like, are they like home and away uniforms like you would have in like sports?
I mean,
like,
it would make sense to have more uniforms.
Yeah.
But, so that was stupid.
I mean, they at least explain why they have different colored uniforms on the cartoon.
Right. And then the jogger from Devil's Advocate.
The jogger
is
from
back.
Devil's Advocate shows up during the montage.
The Cuties fan from Devil's Advocate, he's jogging. And then...
They destroy like a Tiffany's.
Well, wait, before that, so he hits the trap and
Yeah.
traps him. Like, oh, can you just do that? Mm-hmm. I thought you needed the lasers to put him into the trap.
Yeah.
You could just hit the button.
I thought that the lasers were just to hold them in place to defuse their molecules enough to break them down into the trap.
Yeah, but that guy's not... He was running. And he just goes right into the trap.
Well, he was... I liked it also, the little touch of that he was checking his pulse
That was
while he
pretty
was
good.
jogging. I was like,
That
that's
was
a
pretty
cute joke.
A lot of this stuff could have been in the first movie's montage.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go to like a store and everything's floating and then he hit a bunch of lasers and then it falls. And I'm like, what?
And destroys a bunch of stuff.
What was that?
Yeah, exactly.
Were those-
It's never explained. It's another toy that they have.
Yeah, I'm like, was that a ghost? What was that? I have no idea what that was.
It was Tiffany at the Tiffany's. So, and then you get to the point where they have a commercial.
Yes,
Like, they
which
have
I
a-
think it was an unused idea from the first movie.
Yeah.
Ah! What is it, honey?
It's that darn ghost again. He just won't leave us alone. I guess we're just going to have to move.
No, wait! Don't worry. We're not moving. He is.
Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters!
If my house is haunted by a fucking poltergeist, I don't want a balloon. I want to not be scared to sleep in my house.
Here's the thing, though. They're making fun of, like, selling out and
Yeah,
stuff, but
exactly.
that's what the
The whole movie
Ghostbusters
is
did.
selling out, yeah. But I love the ghost that's on the string in the background. It's like, okay, you can afford all this equipment, but you can't get, okay, sure. Oh, and then during that montage is
Ray is speeding in the car.
and it's just like them, like, whoa, like
Yeah.
they're getting somewhere fast.
So that's from later.
Peter's not in the costume.
Yeah. You find out, like, later in the movie, they hint that Ray is going to get possessed.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be his first possession, but then they scrapped it.
Yeah.
And they used it in that montage, much like the blowjob scene.
In the first movie,
In Ghostbusters
yeah.
1 was them at, like, an old fort or something, and he's dressed like the ghost's husband.
Yeah.
But then they scrapped the scene, but they still wanted the blowjob thing, so they made it a dream sequence.
Yeah, exactly. Which even as a kid, I was like, that don't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I
but-
never understood the dream.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that doesn't work. It's funny, but, like, it's like, that doesn't really... Why a dream sequence
Exactly.
in this? And it's like, oh, because they wanted to... So they wanted the speeding car, I guess. Yeah, so that was weird. And then,
You have Louis Tully and Slimer.
yeah, okay, so Tully sees Slimer in the firehouse. Why is Tully there? I know he's an accountant. Does he have to be there on the site?
And he has access to like all their like W-2s and stuff like that because that's how he finds Peter's house later. Yeah.
Right. That's kind of funny. Now that
Yeah.
I'm older and
He's going
understand
through
all
their
that stuff is,
personal-
that's funny. That's okay. Yeah, so they see Slimer, and Lil Tully's like, oh.
He's like, oh, it smells like somebody took a big, and then he falls over the thing.
Yeah, but then it's like, okay, is Slimer their friend?
Yeah.
Why is he in the firehouse? Like, and it's because there was this subplot where Tully was going to try and prove himself to be a Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they shot all of it.
I've seen, Because there's a whole thing where with Eugene Levy was in the movie originally,
Right,
the
right.
dad from American Pie for your followers probably.
Yeah, or Schitt's Creek, whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's probably more relevant.
Yeah.
But they cut all of his scenes out.
Yeah.
So when they were doing the release,
There's a lot cut out of this
I
movie, and
know.
I don't know if they've ever surfaced.
when they were doing all the release the Snyder cut stuff, I
Yeah.
kept adding Columbia Pictures, like, release the Eugene Levy cut, and somebody from the thing liked my comment, and I was like, it's coming back because of me.
But yeah, so there's this whole subplot that was supposed to happen with Tully trying to prove himself to be a Ghostbuster
Yeah.
catching Slimer, and then it's completely omitted.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
And then just
Slimer is only there because he's in the cartoon.
Yeah, yep.
And they need him to be in this so they could sell more toys.
Exactly.
And so your friend can buy you a toy and send to you 20, 30 years later.
I still have the hand puppet they had when the first toys came out, too, from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they talk about the slime. Mm-hmm. They're doing experiments.
They're
on
doing
the
experiments on the slime, and they're telling Winston and
Venkman,
Peter,
who happened by a stroke of luck. Venkman and Winston happen to be in the scene. It's not one or the other.
Exactly. So they're telling them about.
You gotta savor it. There's not many scenes like that.
They're telling them about the mood slime, and you have to you have to say nurturing things to it and all that. And they're like, "You're not sleeping with it, are you?" And they both get quiet, and I was like, "Wait, are they fucking the slime?"
I guess that's the joke. Weird.
Very weird.
In a movie that's trying to be more toward kids and tone down the sex jokes,
Yeah.
weird sex jokes like that just kind of
And I get it's like they got to give the parents something that feels like the first movie.
Yeah.
And I like Winston's like, it's always the quiet ones.
But then they put the slime in the toaster.
And they make it dance to higher and higher.
And this is another effect that you could see the legs pop out, which is kind of annoying. But I mean, what else are you gonna do? Then?
Exactly. But I also
They should have did it like the Golden Child with the Pepsi can and make it stop motion.
That would be great.
Now, because he would have gotten that weird hard line effect. But yeah, so there was that, and they wanted to sell it. Like he's already like,
you're my number one Christmas boutique gift item.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
So you have a suggestion here?
Oh, I have a suggestion. You have all these fucking, the Angry Video Game Nerd episodes.
Yeah.
They've done Ghostbusters. He has an in toaster. Why has the nerd not done a Nintoaster slime in it joke?
Newt, you act like I have any kind of authority when it comes to the Angry I work on a handful of episodes throughout the year.
I'm just saying, that's low-hanging fruit.
I don't work on AVGN that much.
James, I know you watch this show religiously.
He does not. I hopefully one day I'll work a Nintoaster joke in there just for you. So they go to the museum.
Peter goes to the museum to go see Dana. And this is actually one of my favorite lines in the entire movie.
This one's good.
The guy at the front desk, he's like, "I'm here to see Dana Barrett," and he's like,
It used to be one of my two favorite shows. You're kidding me. Oh, great. What was the other one?
Bassmasters. It's a fishing show.
Yeah, I know Bassmasters, sure.
But I like that there's a subplot in his own world where he's in direct competition with the producers of Bassmasters. Like, again, that would be a better movie.
So then I still don't understand why this is happening. Dana walks past the picture, and he's like, huh?
Yeah.
He does that awful wink.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is he doing that?
Just so she can get into, like, so the score can change.
Yeah.
And for her to be like, I hate this painting. I feel like it's looking at me.
Yeah.
You know, and then Janusz comes up. But I like when he's like, I got it. You're hot for this hunky stud.
And he's like, this is Vigo. He's blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, I know why he's sad. He's lost his kitten. Let me just put it right here. That was kind of funny. And it's like, no, go.
Would he paint Raid Shadow Legend into that picture?
Yes, my cat, Raid Shadow Legends. The most
TM.
jellicle cat of 2019 is now available at my house to pet. With over 500 mice to kill and over 100 toys to play with, he's the perfect cat for any true gamer. Cat Store Game Cat of the Year. Yes, I named my new cat Raid Shadow Legends because I'm an asshole.
My cat's name is Elvira, and she and I are going through couples therapy as well. So.
And then I think we get next. Yeah, next is she's getting ready to give the kid a bath.
Yeah.
This scene scared me as a kid.
I could see that. I love when she's like.
There's another scene that really scared me.
Yes,
I'll tell my story, but yeah.
She's like, you can splash mommy, and I was like, I'd like to splash mommy, if you know what I'm talking about.
That was supposed to be like a touching mother-son, like, parenting moment.
I know, but it was Sigourney Weaver in her underwear, so.
Anyway.
Did you ever remember the show Living Single?
Nope.
You never saw the show Living Single?
No.
It was like Black Friends,
Okay.
kinda, in the 90s. And there was an episode where they thought that their like apartment building, Queen Latifah was on it.
Oh,
It was
okay.
like one of the first things that I knew her from. They had an episode where like they thought their apartment was haunted, and they're like, we're gonna bring in a Ghostbuster, and they're like, oh, it's like the movie. He's like, I hated that movie, except for Sigourney Weaver in her underwear. That's the only line from that show, but I remember the entire theme song.
Yeah,
And
okay.
now I'm gonna sing it.
No. So yeah, the tub, the slime is in there, and then it looks like the blob. It looks like
Yeah.
a big tongue, and it goes to
But I like that
forever.
it makes the tub like suck in with it and stuff.
Yeah, it's actually
kind of
decent
cool.
effect.
Yeah.
Like it's because it's definitely like a miniature
Yeah.
that's chroma keyed in, but like it works.
Yeah, no, it looks
like,
good.
Whereas other movies had trouble with that.
Yeah.
Even
So
this
she
one.
freaks out because her apartment
Yeah.
now has mood slime in it because
Yes.
Vigo's trying to get her.
So she goes to
Peter's
Peter
house.
Venkman, who's sleeping in the
the coat.
jacket. His
the hell
fucking
is this?
jacket. And yeah, he's got like the biggest apartment I've ever seen. For
yeah,
New
it's like,
York.
how does he afford that?
How good is his show? I don't know.
Oh, I live in this beautiful palatial estate here in New York,
Yeah.
but I also do a public access TV show, you know?
Yeah. So I think he lets Egon know
Yeah.
about something. He's like, he says, are you sure? And he's like, is the atomic weight of cobalt
58.9.
Like,
And I had to look it up, but now that's like one of those facts that I just know for the rest of my life. But they're like, do you think this whole thing has anything to do with and they look at the slime and it like bubbles and
Yeah.
all, you know?
but yeah, then they're talking about the sleeping arrangements for the apartment. He's
And
like,
anytime a girl sleeps over, I do this. And only one of them has ever gotten the joke. And I should have married her.
because it wasn't that good of a joke.
It wasn't that good a joke, but regardless, I'm a man-child.
Oh, yeah, I love the sign. She's like, I gotta put the baby down. And he's like, you're stupid, you're ugly. No, like, he just yells at him. So then they go to the museum.
Suck in the guts, guys. We're the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and everyone's wearing the Ghostbuster suits except for
Peter.
Venkman. He's wearing his jacket.
Because he's like, I'm not fucking wearing that.
Was he, like, insecure about his weight or something?
No, I think he was just like, they have to say yes to me because they can't make this movie without me. So
Yeah.
I'm going to do whatever I want.
But I love the whole, like, why has you came?
Yeah.
But I do like when he's taking pictures to try to piss off the painting. And then he's like, where are you from? And Janusz goes, the Upper
West Side.
But this is when Ray starts to get kind of possessed.
Yeah.
And it starts to not make
Because
sense.
if you can just possess Janusz and you can possess Ray, why do you need a baby?
What is the purpose of...
I guess to have like life so you could grow up longer, so you could be in power longer.
Can't you just body hop? Like, you're going to be in that baby.
It could be a trancer.
You're going to be in that baby for like 18 years before
Yeah.
you do anything of
Exactly.
significance. So yeah, that part was weird, and it's only for a cheap scare at the end. Like,
Yeah.
It does not amount to much.
No, not as much. Yeah.
And then we get back to whatchamacallit. Yeah, back to Dana Barrett. Because
Oh,
Bill
yeah.
Murray only wants to be in scenes with Dana Barrett.
And she's getting out of the shower, and
Yeah.
she's like, okay, but no more cheap moves. And this is my favorite line in the entire movie.
Yeah.
No, no, no. I have all new cheap moves. And again, that is a line that I use far too often in my life.
But yeah, it just seems like he just wants to be in scenes with Sigourney Weaver. That's the
Yep.
only time he's actually acting.
Yeah. Yep.
He says he's gonna like show the kid Lauren Antonelli.
Yeah,
Lauren
and
Antonelli.
I was like, Lauren Antonelli, why do I know that? And she was in like a bunch of Italian like sexploitation movies, and I was like, what a weird pull. Like that's an
Yeah.
odd reference to make.
So then this comes out of nowhere. Janine is going to babysit, and Tully's like, "Oh, you want to go out?" And she's like, "Oh, you can help me babysit." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Are they into each other? When the?"
Yeah, wasn't she into Winston, or was she into,
She was into Egon. He was into Dana.
Yeah, because they kiss at the end of the first movie and all that kind of stuff, where she's wearing a babushka, like
Yeah,
she's
for
a
some
completely
reason.
different character now.
Yeah, but like, what? Janine and Tully? I get they're the side characters, but
Yeah.
why?
But I guess just so you can have those, because they have to be in the movie, so we have to do something with them.
I guess.
Slimer should have showed up at the apartment too. You could have
Yeah.
checked all those boxes.
Okay, so this scene. They're developing the photos from the, whatchamacallit?
The
And,
sewer, yeah.
Yeah, they're noticing, like, his face is morphing, and then they notice the sewer in the painting.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, one of the first few times I watched this, I was downstairs. I had like a 2-story house. And I was downstairs by myself. My parents were upstairs. And I was watching Ghostbusters 2. I'm playing with toys at Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
And I remember the pictures started lighting on fire.
Yeah.
I was already getting creeped out by the painting, but the pictures were lighting on fire.
Yeah.
And it got me like really scared. And then the power went out. We had a blackout. And I was like, and I'm like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I don't even know if my sister was born yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like downstairs, and my parents are upstairs, and it's like it was pitch black,
Yeah.
and we had to go. I'm like, Mom! It's just
Vigo!
I'm like, can someone come get me? I'm too scared.
Wow, Tony, you're a little bitch.
That scene scared me.
No, and it was really, I liked the way they did the morphing of the face and stuff like that. I was like,
yeah, it was pretty cool.
That felt more in line with something from the first movie.
Yeah.
You know?
So yeah, this, and again, the characters, Bill Murray wants to go on a date with Dana during all of this. Doesn't make any sense.
No.
Like, after everything that happens, you'd want to be, like, next to that baby.
Exactly, just in case nothing happens. And then, so the guys are going to
And they try to get him to go on an adventure.
And that's the line that they cut out that pissed me off and why they did such a disservice to Winston.
Yeah.
That they do that whole scene where it's like, do you want to go look for slime in the sewer? There's a sizzler line. Like, who the fuck knows what sizzler is anymore? But the way it was shot originally was he saying, oh, there's a cockroach breeding and all that kind of stuff. And she kind of looks at them, and Winston turns to Ray and goes, he ain't coming. And I was like, why is that not in the movie?
I don't know.
You know?
But it doesn't make sense for the characters. Why would they be more interested to go on a date instead of protecting?
Because, again, Bill Murray was probably like, she's the only one I want to be in scenes with, you know?
Yeah.
So.
So that's stupid.
Yeah. They go down in the sewer.
They go in the sewer, and I'm shocked that this scene is in this movie.
Because it's dark.
Yeah.
They
and I know it's brief, but yeah.
It's graphic.
Yeah.
They hear, like, they're talking about the cockroaches and in the walls. And you hear, they're like, hello, and then it goes, Winston.
Yeah.
And then when they turn around, there's all these severed heads on pikes of, like, the people that Vigo killed, you know? I kind of saw it because he's supposed to be sort of like a Vlad the Impaler type.
I know, but it doesn't really make sense.
They're freaking out, and they're like, we should probably go get our proton packs.
Yeah, and then a train comes.
And then a ghost train comes.
And I love when they're like, that's the train that derailed. Did you catch the number? And Winston's like, no, I missed it.
Yeah, it was the Albany something.
Yeah.
But again, Winston says, let's go get the packs.
Yeah.
Winston saves them with the fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Winston is the only sensible character in this entire movie.
And they were like so scared to give him screen time.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
And like Ramis and Aykroyd wrote this. Like they should be like, oh, let's.
But a lot of stuff got cut out. I guess like they were like, look, people are only really interested in the main guys.
Yeah.
He's a sub character, but I never like.
Why even bring him back at all?
And Winston,
they're like, oh, Winston got another job.
Yeah, but even on the cartoon, like I have the Winston figure because Winston was my favorite Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I wanted to be Winston, and kids in my neighborhood said I couldn't. Cancel the kids in my neighborhood. From 1987.
Well, I want to say cancel Newt because you should have wanted to be a lady Ghostbuster.
It's true.
And I know they didn't exist yet, but you should have been on the front lines.
Well, Janine was a Ghostbuster in the cartoon.
And she should have been your favorite Ghostbuster.
I do like redheads. Well, no, I liked redheads.
Peter wants to get back together with Dana.
Yeah.
And he wants to be a stepdad to Oscar. Mm-hmm. But as I'm learning on Twitter, the right-wing trad conservative people, well, I'm not gonna say if I am one or not. They're doing this whole thing now where they treat being a stepdad as being a cuckolded, but then they also complain that kids don't have strong father figures. But then they shame people for wanting to be stepdad. So someone should let Bill Murray know he's gonna be a cuck if he ends up being a stepdad.
That's true. I'll call Bill Murray.
I got into an argument on Twitter about that. It's like, wait, being a stepdad is not the same as being.
Tony, it's best when you just stay away from Twitter. But if you haven't liked me on Twitter yet, please follow me on Twitter.
That's still New Wallet.
Yeah.
So then we cut back to Janine and Tully because why not?
Yeah, and he mentions...
And it's not like anything important happens. They're like...
The baby's there.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you want to play Super Mario Brothers? Which I was like, Super Mario Brothers should always lead to making out. I wish I had a copy of the game here to see if you wanted to make out, but we don't.
It's over there. Actually,
oh, it's over there in the other store.
It's over there. Next store.
The next
Through
store.
the cow door.
Yes, exactly.
And there.
We're still following that continuity, huh?
Are we? Who knows?
What happened to Mr. Lobo?
But yeah, it really is just a series of scenes.
Yes, that's it.
And then it's just do the first one again.
Yep.
It's like hitting a lot of the same beats.
Yeah, because then the Ghostbusters, they're down in the sewer. They fall into the slime.
Yeah.
They have to come up the thing. They realize it stops at the museum. They come up, and then they start fighting with each other.
Yeah.
Until they start taking their clothes off, and they're like, it's pure concentrated evil. We got to go tell Peter, who's on a date and a nice...
and they run into the date, and then
where did they know he was going?
he might have said.
I don't
remember.
I don't know.
So they go and interrupt his date.
Yeah.
And then they go to the mayor.
Yeah.
And
I like though when they're in the thing and he's like, guys, you're scaring the straights.
I do like when he goes to the mayor's. Oh no, they get arrested.
They get arrested because
That's
Dana
right.
comes back and she's like, "How was your night?" He was like, "Well, Peter got arrested," and she's like, "Typical."
So they get arrested. They're at the mayor, and I there's one good line from I think Ray where he's like, "First off, Mr. Ray, I want to let you know that almost 50% of us voted for you in the last election."
I wish we didn't have to keep meeting like this. Like,
I do like Winston in this scene too because he's like really trying to be like, "Yeah, let me tell you about this."
But it's no, I've seen shit that would turn you white.
Yeah, but again, it feels like a weaker version of that scene.
Yeah, there's no, this man has no dick scene. It's like,
oh, they call him Bungie Brain,
Bungie Brain.
which is a bird. A bird. But it's
Okay.
like, that's not as good as Dickless.
No,
Why would
exactly.
you even attempt it? Like, what the fuck? But then they're like, Kurt Fuller's like, all right, I'll take care of him. And then he gets
Institutionalizes him.
And it's Brian Doyle Murray.
Yeah.
Bill Murray's real brother.
but
And
I was
it's
like, what if the movie just ended there? Like, just credits. Like,
So yeah, it's just when they got arrested in the first one.
yeah, exactly.
Just with less Reginald Val Johnson.
That's what I was just gonna say that.
But this is another Janusz, really great Janusz line where Vigo comes back. It's like, I am the scourge of Carpathia.
I, Vigo, the scourge of Carpathia.
No, you've told me this. The scourge.
The sorrow of Moldavia.
Sorrows, I've heard all of this, yes.
Command you.
Command me, Lord.
Like,
Such a funny performance wasted in this movie.
and I know we're laughing a lot, but it took me a while to get through this movie the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, look, you can't have this many talented people and not have a funny thing once in a while.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I don't like Lost World Jurassic Park, but there is a few good things in there.
One of my favorite lines in that movie was when he calls like her last name and he's like there's gonna be another one on the island.
But I mean, if you have enough talented people, even if it's an overall bad movie, you're gonna get a good moment. Here and
something
there.
is gonna come out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're institutionalized.
Yeah, they're
Dana's back at the apartment and they're watching Citizen Kane because Lewis refers to Orson Welles as Citizen Kane. And the thing he's like, oh, he used to be married to so and so. But then I was just like, did you watch Mank?
On Netflix?
Yeah,
No, I deleted my Netflix when Cuties came out, as we all did.
that's right.
You deleted Netflix, right?
People are
Yep.
mad about Cyberpunk. Let's talk about Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I deleted. Dude, I'm very, very progressive, and I deleted Netflix because of Cuties. I didn't see Joker because the media told me there would be a shooting, and I
worried
assumed
about
there
that.
was
Yeah.
one. And I do not play Cyberpunk 2077 because games journalists told me to boycott it. So nobody has Netflix. Netflix is dead.
I did get rid of my Netflix like right before the last billing
to
thing.
boycott.
To boycott.
Cuties.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the dumbest thing.
Yes.
Second to maybe Ray getting
Possessed.
So Oscar is out on the ledge.
Yeah. The baby is not proven to be able to stand at any point.
And he's definitely not standing. He's definitely
yeah.
being hoisted up by something. So did a ghost move him to the ledge? Did something draw him to climb to the ledge?
Wouldn't it make more sense if the Janusz ghost was in the bedroom with him? And that would be a creepy visual. Like the rake, you know?
You just skipped ahead. Yes, Janusz is a ghost nanny now.
Yeah. Which begs a lot of questions because, like, I have this power. I'm gonna be a British nanny.
And it took me years to realize that was Janusz.
Oh, but she says it is, though. She's like, it was Janusz.
I missed the
or
line.
it was Mr. Fantastic.
But, like, if you miss that line...
Oh, really?
It's pretty fast. If you miss that line, I almost feel like it was ADR.
Yeah, she's like, it was a ghost. And she's like, no, it was Janusz.
Yeah, and it's like, why is he a British nanny ghost.
With glowing eyes and Stretch Armstrong powers.
But I assume a ghost put the kid on the ledge. Why didn't that ghost?
And then does the ghost, like, usually, like, when Slimer's drinking booze, like, things come through him, how would he hold the baby?
Well, I mean, some of the ghosts held a book. That's a whole different thing. But yeah,
I don't think the science of the Ghostbusters series holds up, is all I'm saying.
So yeah, it's really, really bizarre. Like, I to this day...
Yeah.
Someone explain it to
It's
me.
a bizarre scene. It's like we're getting to the point now where things have to happen.
Yeah.
So now you have the scene like in the first movie where it's Mick Smiley.
Okay.
Mick Smiley has the song Magic in the first movie.
Magic,
yeah,
please.
which that's only the end part of that song. The whole thing is different.
Yeah.
But with the scene where all the ghosts are coming out.
Yes.
And into that scene has the ghost or the skeleton cab driver, which is hands down my favorite character in all of Ghostbusters.
That's a good one.
love that character.
Yeah.
It looks like a Bernie Wrightson piece of artwork comes alive, but instead now it's Glenn Fry, Flip City.
Yeah.
And all the slime is coming out of the thing, and it's making everything possessed, but I like that it's dripping out of the movie theater.
Yeah.
And the movie theater is showing Cannibal Girls, which was a Harold Ramis Canadian grindhouse movie that had Eugene Levy in it. And the thing I love about that movie was it used to have a terror bell, and it was somebody's job in the projection booth to ring a bell to tell people that they could look at the screen. And that's my whole thing about that. But this scene has the one thing that creeped me out as a kid was the woman's fur coat.
Yeah, that scared me as a kid
Freaked me
too.
out when I was a kid.
But then there's weird stuff like the giant monster under the arch. But then they mentioned that after this they say there was like a dinosaur, but it's a skeleton.
Yeah.
Like it left a museum. But like, what is that ghost of under the? I know some of the ghosts don't look exactly.
Yeah, because like the
human.
one that comes out of the subway that looks like a bug.
That was in the first.
Or the movie theater. No, the one that comes out of the movie theater. It has like wings and looks like a bug.
Oh yeah, that one's weird. Yeah,
and
not every ghost in the first one looked like a human.
Yeah,
but kind of. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like this one, like what is that big thing under the arch?
And why didn't it come back and fight the Statue of Liberty?
Exactly.
Or why wasn't it in one of the video games? Like,
by the way, are any of the ghosts like in the first one? The ghosts are like a side effect of Goes Are Coming. The mood slime is bringing ghosts back.
That doesn't make any sense.
Are they for Vigo?
Or like, are they escaping it? Or is it like a Night on Bald Mountain kind of thing where they're just allowed to?
Maybe, but like, are they working in unison with Vigo, or are they just another side? Okay,
it's just unrelated.
And also, did the slime make its way into the ocean and bring the Titanic back?
So weird.
Would have been funnier in the first movie.
Yes.
This would have worked better in the first movie.
That Cheech Marin, who's a very famous individual,
just throw him in there.
Is in one scene, but I do love that line where he's like, "Better late than never."
Yeah. And then they like use extra footage later on of it, which you could tell was not meant for that scene.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's.
I like the look. I do like the look of the ghosts coming off the Titanic.
Because they look like ghosts?
Because it reminds me of the scene in Poltergeist where they play the footage back and you see all the people and they're like looking at the camera and stuff like that.
So then we get to the mayor's office.
Yes.
And yeah, there's Philip Baker Hall.
Yep.
Who is in my favorite Seinfeld episode, The Library. He's Bookman.
Yeah.
Head of a library called Bookman? That's like an ice cream man named Cone. And then Ben Stein is there.
Yep.
But then this is the dumbest thing I've ever... I feel like I've said that multiple times.
Yeah.
But the mayor looks out. He sees the sky opening up, which isn't the slime coming from above. Whatever. The sky opens up. And...
Because they did it in the first one.
Exactly. But someone says, have you ever seen anything like this? And the mayor should be like, yeah, we all did.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
We probably should have been nicer to those fucking dudes.
Like, we literally all saw this. But I do like how the mayor was like, so-and-so was in my bed last night.
Theodore LaGuardia.
Yeah.
He's been dead for like...
For 40 years. So he's like, get the Ghostbusters
But I
out
like
of there.
the idea of him just having a conversation with... Because he says he talked to it.
Yeah.
You know? Imagine you're like in bed at the mayor's mansion and Theodore LaGuardia is there. The Bobby Brown song kicks in.
Is that the We're on our own?
Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. The Ghostbusters in the in control, throwing parties.
Is that the same
That's
one?
the song, yeah.
Na, na, na,
yeah,
na,
so a year ago, after I'd started working not at Hack the Movies video.
Yeah.
I was at CVS in the middle of the night getting cat food.
Okay.
And some dude was talking to his wife or somebody on the phone, and he's like, I don't know, whatever they have, it looks like it's too hot to handle. And I said, too cold to hold. You call the Ghostbusters. And he stopped and looked at me, and then quickly left that aisle.
You're an insane.
Oh, I know.
I do like that song though. We're on. I forget the whole word. Hey,
Yeah,
it's a good song.
I know the whole thing. It's like I'm a 39-year-old man who knows all the words to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song from the movie. Turtle, pal.
Stop. So the Ghostbusters show up. They were Bobby Brown, and the city is now cheering.
But Bobby
them.
Brown is like, can you get my kid brother one of those proton packs? And he's like, a proton pack is not a toy.
Except
which
it
means
was a
that
toy.
proton packs are not for kids. Show a picture of the new Ghostbusters right here. Whoops.
Yeah, so they get to they suit up, they get to the thing, they shoot the proton packs at it, and I do kind of like this moment because it's like, yo, you expect it to work, but then it doesn't.
But it's like the city hates the Ghostbusters, but then they show up and they like the Ghostbusters.
they like the Ghostbusters.
And then it doesn't work anymore, so they don't like the Ghostbusters
Yeah.
anymore.
So they're thinking
Fucking
like, oh,
New Yorkers.
yeah, there's too much negative energy. And
But there's a deleted scene where the mayor's assistant
Kurt Fuller?
Yeah, is like, oh, it's nothing. It's like, it's nothing to worry about because he's trying to keep the re-election campaign.
Yeah.
And he leans against the slime and it sucks him in and just spits his shoes out.
Oh.
And then, like, the police commissioner's, like, standing behind, because the police commissioner's, the dude from Boogie Nights, is standing behind Bill Murray, and Bill Murray looks at him and he just kind of, like, walks away. Like,
But Kurt Fuller is alive at the very end. He's singing
they
with them.
cut that scene out or
Yeah.
whatever.
So they're talking about like what can inspire people to be good, and this is what I noticed. The 2 logo is on their uniforms.
on their uniforms as well, and on the car. It's on the Ecto 1A.
It doesn't make 1A. They had to call it the Ecto 1A because the Ecto 2 was like a helicopter or something, and like, it's so stupid. Anyway, so the 2 sign is on. I'm like, that is a fun logo for the movie,
but it's not how you brand your company.
Because it
Unless
looks
it's
like
like
a ghost is like, I come in peace. And
Or
you
it's
kill-
like, hey, our business failed once, but we're back. Like,
it's so stupid. Like, it doesn't make sense that would be on their uniforms.
Yeah.
So dumb.
So they go, we
Yeah.
have to find something that has enough positive energy.
And this is the first Ghostbusters thing I remember. Like,
really?
further back when I watched this movie, I remember this is like the first thing was the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. And they're like something that everybody can get behind, and they realize it's the Statue of Liberty.
Yes.
And, and it's,
Yeah, they go to the statue. They got there pretty fast. I don't know who got them out there.
Well, remember in the first one, they had, like, the military that was, like, letting them, like, following
Yes!
them. Let's run some red lights!
So they go to the Statue of Liberty. They make a stupid joke. She naked on the
Yeah. She's French, you know.
Yeah, and then they spray it with mood slime.
And it comes out as
positively charged.
Positively charged mood slime, which brings up 2 things.
Okay.
You have the ability to have positive mood slime. Get out of the ghost busting business and get into pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And make $1 bajillion.
Exactly.
And B, I ejaculate the same way. It's a thick, viscous pink slime, and I'm thinking that I need to go see a doctor.
So they So they spray it with slime.
Yeah.
And then somehow put a Nintendo arcade controller on. I don't know what do they attach it to. I've been inside the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
There's no mechanics. What do they attach it
to? They said, hey, there's going to be a Ghostbusters 2 game on Nintendo, and everyone's going to like it, and it's going to be great, so let's put Nintendo products in there.
It's like
I don't know. Somebody get a Ouija board. We'll talk to Harold Ramis.
I don't understand. What? There's no motors. There's no skeleton. And then it gets up and starts walking.
And then that's when I thought.
By the way, the Statue of Liberty is hollow.
It would fucking.
It would bend and collapse. It would. And then how does it? So its hand is permanently stuck on the torch.
Yeah.
And permanently stuck to the book. How does it climb out of the harbor? It can't. By the way, it doesn't have legs.
But then I thought to myself, do you think because all right, the art museum in New York is covered in evil slime.
Yes.
CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, they're all gonna tune into it, and it's global news. Do you think the French saw that and go, did you fucking know it could do that?
What
Can
the
we
hell?
ask for it back? Like,
So they're playing Love Keeps Lifting You Higher, and they're walking with the Statue of Liberty, and it makes no sense.
nope. They step on a cop car.
They step on a cop car.
Yeah.
I mean, the scene did make me feel a little patriotic. I was like, you know what? I'm proud to be an American. I'm like, wow, this is what America is all about right here. This beautiful symbol of freedom and peace. And it was real beautiful. And she walks by Trump Tower, gives it her blessing. And then they get to the museum, and the Statue of Liberty shatters the roof.
Yeah, which makes because everybody now is so excited to see this giant thing, not going like, hey, remember last time a giant thing came to New York?
Oh, yeah, if I was in New York, I would be like, this wouldn't inspire peace. People like, oh no,
I'd be
a ghost
scared.
is in the...
Remember when it fucking stepped on that church?
Remember when Food's mascot came to life and tried to kill everyone? I would be like, oh no, another friendly thing came to life.
I'm moving to New Jersey. So the positive energy makes the slime recede.
Yeah.
It smashes the thing. They grapple hook down.
Yeah, like they're Batman or something.
Yeah, same summer.
So then they... Okay. Are we still rolling? Are the cameras still
I have
rolling?
no idea. Yeah,
Red.
that's red.
Okay.
They're all red.
So, the whole point of the baby... I need this baby. Oh, he had an agreement with Janusz for Sigourney Weaver to be his wife, whatever. The whole point was, I need this baby to take physical form and be reborn.
Yeah.
But he can possess other people, and he can even
Just
turn them
come
into
out of the
ghosts.
painting.
Yeah. He walks out of the painting.
Yeah.
How long can he do that? Is there a time limit?
It's the same thing, like Janusz had to get back as the British nanny within a time period. It's like a ticking clock element.
Is it? Because he just, I need this baby to take form, and then he's just there. It's like, wait.
And then
what?
he blasts all of them. They all get stuck to the floor, and they're like asking.
Yeah, instead of just killing them, which Gozer did the same thing. Well, Gozer tried to knock him off the building.
but they didn't fall. But
well,
like,
I think what the whole thing with Gozer was, like, they weren't allowed to kill until they took the form.
Yeah, exactly.
So she just kind of zapped them away.
So it's like, Peter, or, Ray, are you okay? Egon, are you okay? Peter, you okay? Winston's like, these fucking motherfuckers.
They don't ask Winston if he's okay.
Hey, I'm here too. What if Winston was like, had enough and joins Vigo at the end of the movie?
So yeah, Vigo...
Surprise, motherfuckers.
Vigo is gonna... He has a physical form.
Yeah.
But then
I like when he grabs the baby, and there's something you never say while holding a baby, is now we become one. Maybe that might get you on, get you a
movie on Netflix.
Yeah.
So, all right, another movie. Don't worry, I'm going to connect this soon. Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
Yes.
You know the end of that movie? Are you a Lord of the Rings fan?
Yeah, I've seen all of them.
Okay. You know when Aragorn is fighting that giant, like, orc, or giant, like, troll or ogre at the end? Okay. Kind of weird that they focus on him fighting a big CGI monster, right? Originally, that was Sauron in physical form.
Oh, okay.
They filmed it with him in the suit and everything, but then they were like, it kind of didn't make sense because we have this whole thing where he needs the ring to actually be powerful. So it'd be weird, like, because they never say, like, if he... I don't know. Like, they realize it didn't make sense for it. Was a cool visual.
Yeah, but it doesn't work with the story.
But, like, story-wise, like, he needs the ring. Even if he does have a physical form, he's probably in the tower and he just needs the ring. So they replaced him with that. That's a movie that realized it made a mistake and tried to fix it.
Yeah.
Granted, you couldn't digitally replace something back there, but anyway.
Like a mustache.
Yeah, so... And speaking of movies that came out years later, the bad guy thinks he's winning, and then all of New York starts singing that New Year's Eve song that no one knows the lyrics to. And it starts weakening him, much like the people on the bridge weaken the Green Goblin and Spider-Man.
You mess with New York, you mess with Spider-Man, you mess with New York. And the guy driving the tugboat is the star of Cannibal Holocaust.
I remember seeing that in theaters, and even as a kid, I love that movie, and I remember, like, I get it, I get why.
It's not as fucking stupid as in The Amazing Spider-Man, where everyone just so happens to turn their crane at the same time so Spider-Man can get to fight the lizard faster.
we could just do this whole show on shitty movies that take place in New York.
They're like, oh, I was off the... Because if I know anything about people in unions, they love coming back and working off the clock to help dudes in fucking spandex.
So yeah, it weakens him, and then they shoot him with the lasers and the slime.
Yeah.
And he goes back into the painting, and then you think he's dead, but then Ray is staring at the painting.
So Ray gets possessed again, which again would have saved us all a lot of trouble if he just possessed Ray in the first place.
Because he could just go into Ray, and then his head's all big, and then they shoot him, and he explodes.
Yes.
And then they're all fine.
Yeah.
And I kind of like how like Ray is like super lovey because he got
I do,
hit with the slime,
him
and then Janusz is like,
why am I dripping this goo?
He's like, hey man, I love you. And he's like, I love you
too.
And they're all happy. And then they look at the painting.
And it makes no fucking sense. And even as a kid, I remember turning to my babysitter who shit her pants and being like, well, that was dumb.
She's like, sorry, I didn't pay attention. Yeah. Wait, you actually watched the whole movie?
Yeah, we stayed and watched. I know. We rolled the windows down.
Anyway.
And then on the way home, she's like, never tell your mom what happened tonight. And seeing as how my parents have never watched anything I've ever done on the internet, secret is safe with you, Angela, whatever happened to you.
So, the painting is now the Ghostbusters in togas with the baby.
Yeah.
Now, people will be like, the video game is in continuity. The video game is the true Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah.
In the video game, the painting's back to being Vigo.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what happened. By the way, the video game also tried to... I like the Ghostbusters video game.
The NES one?
No. The one everyone knows.
Yeah.
You've never actually played it, right?
I've never played it, no.
We're going to play it together. We might play it the week this comes out. Follow me on Twitch. Twitch.tv/actionmovies. They do try to connect it where, like, the Shandor cult might have been responsible for the slime.
Okay.
And they made the slime, and it was in, like, an offshore base that leaked into the city.
Well, that makes sense because they even say in the first movie, like, they had massive numbers, and they were all over the place, and they believed that society was too sick to survive.
Yeah.
So they came up with all these ways.
So something like that would have been nice. Where's the slime come up from in this movie?
Yeah.
I know it's explained in a video game that came out 20 years later,
Yeah.
but in this movie, where does it come from?
Doesn't matter. We had to make a movie to sell toys, Tony. And it worked on me.
Yeah, did it?
And then at the end, they're all outside singing, and the Ghostbusters come out, and then I thought to myself...
Oh, and I do like that Lewis. Oh, he gets on the bus with Slimer.
Yeah, Slimer.
We totally forgot about this forgettable...
because it doesn't matter.
So Slimer shows up as a bus driver.
I didn't know you had your driver's license.
And he helps Lewis. I'm like, all right, if you left all the scenes where they were chasing each other, fine. And this would have been a fun payoff where they team up. But then that's it.
And then Lewis shows up. He's outside, so they see him. And I look at it as like a stolen valor kind of thing.
Which is protected by the First Amendment.
Yes.
Not that I endorse it. I just want to point
Cuomo.
out the Supreme Court protected under the First Amendment.
The Lewis Tully law. Yes.
It's exactly what they call it. So yeah, he shoots the thing, and by coincidence, people think he blows it up.
And all the slime goes into the air, and I was like,
Yeah.
did it go into the portal? But there was no portal when it went into the air. Like, where did that go? Imagine you're just a flight.
Also, the Statue of Liberty just knocked over.
And that's what I
now.
thought. I was like, because the Statue of Liberty in the end credits is back. So
Yeah.
how the fuck did it get back? Whose job was it? I would sue the Ghostbusters again!
Yes! Yes!
Good luck doing parties, assholes!
No, they're celebrating.
Yeah,
Ghostbusters.
it's 1990. Yeah, this movie's not good. And I know we there's parts of it that we really like.
Yeah,
And it's funny.
Overall, it doesn't have that magic in
No,
the first one.
not
And
at
I've
all.
said this many, many times. That's the whole point of this. Ghostbusters is not a good franchise.
No.
First movie, great. Cartoon's only good if you were the right age for it. And you didn't care about you were too young to appreciate what really made the first movie funny. And I get if you like the cartoon, that's fine. I like the Beetlejuice cartoon.
Oh, Beetlejuice cartoon was fucking great.
But it always pissed me off that he was friends with Lydia.
Yeah.
And then Alec Baldwin's character wasn't in it.
Yep.
Although I wouldn't mind now. Fuck Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Because he yelled at his daughter and his wife.
Called her a pig.
Yes. Very, very misogynistic. That's the only reason I don't like Alec Baldwin. And that and The Shadow wasn't that good. So yeah, the Beetlejuice cartoon. I think I would have liked it if it was just Beetlejuice and Ghostland without Lydia. But I was able to like kind of separate that. I don't know, this one, because there was no Beetlejuice 2 that was more like the
Exactly,
cartoon.
yeah.
So it was fine. If they did a Beetlejuice 2 where Lydia and him are friends, I would have been pissed off.
Yeah, exactly. But it would have at least made sense.
Maybe?
Instead of, but I mean, like, it would have made sense for the cartoon.
Yeah.
Whereas this, like, I know people who thought they knew the cartoon. And they thought that the movie was based on the cartoon, the first movie.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, oh wow, really? Okay.
Wow.
But then again, my parents let me watch fucking RoboCop when I was really young.
So did mine.
And Conan the Barbarian and shit like that.
Same.
So, you know.
Me, you, and Justin, we've had very similar upbringings when it
very
came
much
to movies.
so. And it didn't affect us in the least bit.
Meanwhile, Kieran and James and like Ryan and stuff, they weren't allowed to watch anything. They were like, oh yeah, I saw this movie when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ghostbusters 2, it's fine if you like it. I don't care. Just the thing was, what sparked this all in me, before the remake even came out.
Yeah.
Like, I was a guy who wanted the Ghostbusters 3 for years.
Yeah. Remember, it was going to be like Adam Sandler and Chris Farley.
Yeah, but then as I got older, I'm like, you know what? We don't need one.
No,
we didn't even need it. The same people that made the first one so great were not able to recreate the magic with 2.
Yes.
Therefore, how could anyone else do it?
Yeah.
Like, how...
I'm still going to see the new one.
What, are you stupid?
Well, yes.
Anyway, so the remake came out, and everyone's like, they're ruining Ghostbusters. I'm like, well, 2 sucked.
I said the same thing.
Like, 2 sucked. There's one good video game. There's some cool toys. But as a franchise overall, it's not that good.
But Ecto Cooler is the nectar of the gods.
I guess.
I wanted to, when they brought it back out, I wanted to fill a bathtub with it, and then Elizabeth Bathory myself back to 1989.
You could probably just make it. You could probably look at
a friend of Justin and I he used to come to conventions. We used to do Underbelly. He used to make it and like put vodka in it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my plan was to bring the case that I saved and then a Crystal Skull vodka tonight, but I've been at work since 8 o'clock this morning, so I forgot.
And it's been snow, and we're not allowed to go anywhere.
Yeah. Then why are people coming to the video store?
Oh, this is like a couple of those bars protesting the lockdowns. I am an autonomous zone. I don't care if the government says I'm not essential. I'm staying open so you can get your copy of The Bear. Why do I keep singling The Bear? I don't even know what that movie is.
There's so many other movies
There's
here.
so many movies. I've never even seen The Bear. I pulled that from my...
you know what? In the last episode, I said The Bear with Danny DeVito. That's Jack the Bear. It's a different movie. The Bear is like a movie about a bear.
You know what? I might have seen. That's my grandfather's tape. I've probably seen that movie.
It's about hairy men in San Francisco.
Anyway, that's why I'm staying open. But if you can't come here and support our rights, I don't allow masks in the store.
Jesus Christ.
If you can't come here, please subscribe again. And thank you. By the way, thanks everyone.
Yeah.
You know, when the show I was on ended, I did a little review on the set, and I was like, let me bring my good friend Newt. Well, I'm not really good friends with him, but
we've become good friends.
Fuck it, he wants to actually be in videos. Unrelated picture of Justin Silverman, and he'll talk movies. Fine.
I work right down the hall.
We get along on some movies, and some movies we don't. Like, for example, he's an idiot who likes Batman v Superman, but that's...
I love Batman v Superman, the director's cut, and I'm very excited for it.
And you know what? I accept you, even with your mental condition. But I want to thank everyone who's been watching us. Everyone said I don't know why they keep comparing it to Rental Reviews.
Yeah.
It's a completely different show.
Yeah.
But this was one of the highlights of 2020 was the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to do it some more.
Yeah, you gotta have Johanna back and Crystal back and Joe Mascola and those other 2 guys you never introduced, so I unsubscribed to the show I'm on. I don't even care.
Oh yeah, Mike and Brian, yeah.
Yeah. Well, then one time I sent
I'll bring them back.
I sent you a picture and you're like, why does it say unsubscribed? You're not even subscribed to the show you're on? And it was because it was from my different YouTube account, my work one, and I was like, oh, whoops, I shouldn't have sent him that one.
But yes, I'm excited to do more movie reviews.
I'm gonna get you over 16,000 subscribers soon.
I'm close to that, yeah. No, because Hack the Movie started out doing movie reviews in like 2010.
Yeah.
And no one watched them on Blip. And then I moved to YouTube and nobody watched them on YouTube. And then I did other character stuff and skit stuff, which I still do on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta call my good friend Joker Fan and see if he's still alive. He might be coming back. But yeah, so then, rental reviews. People have come here from rental reviews and they like the show. And and I love all of you. That mood slime got on me.
Yeah, that was...
Son of a bitch, I meant to make these lights pink for Ghostbusters 2. God damn it, we're doing the whole thing over again. Oh, no. So yeah, it's been really great. Please subscribe. And again, remember I mentioned all those cancel attempts. So if you could subscribe to me on Patreon and OnlyFans, buy a shirt on the merch store, and
do Newt fan art, please.
Watch Swamp. Do you get residuals on Swamp Zombies too?
No, I sold that all out.
Don't watch Swamp Zombies.
Watch Swamp Zombies 2.
Watch Swamp Zombies 2.
And just do the comments about how great I am in it.
Leave reviews on how great Newt's... You wrote it, right?
Yeah, well, co-wrote it.
Co-wrote it, and you're acting in it, right?
Yeah.
Still have not seen it. I've seen Swamp Zombies
We need to watch it.
Have you seen Thugs vs. Dinosaurs?
I have.
Oh, damn.
Twice, actually. And every episode of Mummy Cop, you filthy motherfucker.
So please support the show. Please. Please. And if I ruined your life, if you're going to hate me for not liking Ghostbusters 2, then you're going to be shocked by a lot of other movies I don't like. There's some
we
movies...
have a whole list of other movies to talk about, and we're like...
Remember when I said I wasn't a Goonies kid? It's because I fucking hate the Goonies.
Oh, I love Goonies.
Anyway, goodbye, everyone.
Gremlins 2 is better than Gremlins. Hot take.
Yeah. Oh, what? The ball is counting down.
Oh, no, we got to go watch it.
And 10, 9, 8... Oh, I'm getting a call. Hello? Problematic tweets from 2008? Oh, Newt, I've been canceled.
All right, then it's the Newt Show now.
I didn't even have a tweet in 2008.